Good in this deck. It's a very good card in general. Alright, Jeskai Tempo. For those that are not familiar with Magic jargon, Tempo is a word that refers to aggro control. So Tempo decks are decks that have an aggressive slant, but also are incredibly interactive. So in this particular deck, we have Path to Exile, Lightning Bolt, Lightning Helix, a mix of counter spells, and Dovin, Veto, and Spell Queller. Teferi, Time Raveler, interacts very profitably with Spell Queller because while Teferi's in play, his timing restriction says that your opponent can't recast the card that was under Spell Queller. It also means that if your Spell Queller has something underneath it and you play Teferi and pick your Spell Queller back up, their spell stays exiled, so Teferi lets you reuse your Quellers. While Teferi's in play, you can Restoration Angel, blink your Spell Queller to counter a new spell and not let them get the old one back. So lots of sweet tricks there. Tubby Batman, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. Or Tier 1 sub, sorry. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Thanks for keeping me employed this month with that. Hey Jeff, chat. Played the new Hogok. Has Jeff played the new Hogok? And I expect to find matches on YouTube soon. So every day, my YouTube content is updated almost instantaneously. As soon as I finish streaming something, I literally go and get things processing and published to YouTube. So if it's not on YouTube, I haven't played it. So there is a crab version of the Hogok deck in the queue, but we have to work our way through it. Playing Hogok in Minneapolis. Any ideas on cards that are good against Surgical? There's a 1-mana artifact. Is it Silent Gravestone? Cards in graveyards can't be the target of spells or abilities. That's an anti-surgical extraction card. No, I don't generally write sideboard. It's not true. I write sideboard guides on occasion, but it's been a while since I've written one. So, no, I have not put a guide together for this deck. To answer your question directly. I think it's fine. It doesn't really have a lot of food for the Grim Lavamancer, but the rest of the spells are reasonable, and he attacks for 1 at least. What do you think of Mardu Pyromancer? The last time we played Mardu Pyromancer, my conclusion at the end was it felt like bad Jund. I feel like with Jund gaining the ability to play things like Seasoned Pyromancer, a lot of the appeal of Mardu Pyromancer has gone away. I like this deck a lot, Paper Skate. To set a bar that's low, I prefer it to blue-white control. I don't think its blue-white control matchup is pretty okay. That being said, it looks like we're playing against it here, so we'll get to challenge that hypothesis a bit here, perhaps. You probably just play a Temple of Enlightenment, Pythrion, or you could just play another shock land. If you an extra untapped land's not the worst thing in the world. I think I'm gonna pass on that, Frantic. I don't think adding that enchantment makes that archetype meaningfully better. You know, it's quite possible I should just click myself here to get rid of this Path to Exile that likely doesn't have much text. I think I'm just gonna take their Snapcaster Mage here. I have a Veto for this Narset. Is it crazy to just spread them off of their Field of Ruin? They can't activate it right now. Sweet. The blue-white mirror is like eating a garbage can full of packing peanuts. That is graphic. You play 3-land Belcher in Modern. I don't really think I want to play either, Scrafted. Both those decks are pretty bad. Part of the reason I've been enjoying Modern more recently is because we've been explicitly avoiding playing decks that are garbage fires. This format's been a lot less kind to brewing in recent months. You got it. You've surgically extracted my Dovin's vetoes. If they don't draw another path here, this Colonnade's going to run them down relatively quickly. He says as his opponent immediately draws another path to exile. And we've flooded now, so... about to have a bad time. There he is. I don't know why they didn't want to draw a card, but thanks, I guess. Maybe I'm supposed to path my Lava Man in response there. Their last card's a Plains. Resto's not a terrible draw. I'm gonna hang on to her for now. Really wish I would have clicked myself earlier. I guess they'd have had a Snapcaster Mage if I'd have clicked myself. It's like 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. Major Cryptic, yep. I'm just going to go ahead and trade this for 2 of these. We're probably behind from here. Put a card on top, yep. Veto. Veto's actually one of our better cards, and they did surgical that, which sucks. No, I'm out of basics. I mean, that's not remotely true, Thunderwunk. We have a bunch of cards in this matchup that just aren't good game one. Like these Path to Exiles, for instance. We have cards like Teferi that are really good, but we have a lot of cards that just like basically don't have text. Would I rather have Lightning Helix or Grim Lavamancer? I'd rather have Lightning Helix. Just have more things for my Snapcasters to do. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, and that's how these mirrors go a lot of the time. Maybe we're not ahead here because they have more card advantage than we do. Like, if we won for one each other a bunch and then they end up sticking something like Teferi, we're definitely behind. Yeah, that's true. That's true. The 3 damage spells are good against their planeswalkers. I'm gonna mulligan this, and part of the reason why that hand is bad is because it has so many basic lands in it. This is a matchup where you want your basics in your deck for their paths and their Field of Runes. I don't know that I care about the blue-white matchup enough to put cards in my sideboard explicitly for them. Land was a good draw. Most people who play fair decks in Modern have this irrational hatred of losing to other fair decks, though, so usually they overstack their decks in terms of how many things they put in. These are my Spell Quellers. There are many like them, but these ones are mine. This one lander paid off pretty well. I'm gonna go ahead and just get my thing on the table. This is bad if they play 3 mana Teferi. But I guess if they play 3 mana Teferi, I play my 3 mana Teferi, and then we both get to have one. Now, I don't think Delver of Secrets is good in this deck. That's why I'm not playing it. Alright, so I'm just going to take this opportunity to stick my Time Raveler. And I'm going to use this opportunity to get some value here. That's such a good take, Blitz. Ouch, my ego. Alright, well, we stuck 3 mana Teferi. Very skillfully, I might add. We stuck 3 mana Teferi, so looks like we're pretty far ahead here. Skillfully played our bomb. Opponent's deck stopped working. Do you like it when I stroke you, opponent? Stroke your Lyra? How does me stroking your Lyra make you feel on the inside? These are a few of my favorite things. Do, 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 do. Shouldn't have tapped my white source there. Should have tapped this basic mountain. That was a pretty big mistake. Alright, so they're going to 13, which puts them at a virtual 4 with our hand, which is nice. They're dead, right? If I end step, they can't do anything. I end step Queller. I attack for 4. No, I'm one short with that line, right? I'm gonna hang tight for now. I don't wanna. Alright, so if we would have gone for it, we would have drawn it and killed them. Was end step double Queller lethal? End step double Queller was lethal. Yeah, you're right. Is that a double Queller, then we'd untap to 9 them? Yeah. And that's guaranteed to work through the power of the Time Raveler. They're actually dead here, right? They were dead regardless. Man, playing Hearthstone and having your one turn kill in your hand, just OTK them, just like, oh yeah. An incredibly interesting and engaging game of Magic my opponent and I have played. Less than 3. Thank you for the 14 months, No Lava. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Quote me, Little Teferi is a miserable card on the same level as Blood Moon and Ensnaring Bridge. End quote. Do I want more answers to their 5/5 angels? I have Detention Sphere. I guess I have Double Bolt too. Yeah, they probably have like 2 at most. I'm just gonna hang tight. Teferi can tempo it. I'm hearing play a deck with Blood Moon, Bridge, and Teferi. It's exactly. See, there's someone who gets it. There's someone who gets it. Yeah, this hand's pretty good. My deck does definitely play Hearthstone better than my opponents. You're not wrong. Spread them, baby. Match 1, game 3, tacos. Click into untap Teferi is. A pile of Blood Moons. Thanks for the 8 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Show me all secrets. Did you see Mueller completely exonerated Stoneforge Mystic yesterday? That might be the best comment I've heard all day. That's truly excellent. Did you see Mueller exonerate? Oh, my chat is great. Y'all are wonderful. Never change. This is a neat trick with Teferi. Is that you can bounce your Spreading Seas to effectively make Teferi's down tick draw 2 cards. Hey, the big main, thanks for the 3/4 of a year support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And Ebony Ellick, thank you for the 4 months. Thanks for keeping me around, folks. Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. So this pop-up stops harassing me to tell you something. Never feel like you're harassing me with that message. I appreciate the support. So they get to J-Storm here. We get to Snap Bolt this and then spread their Colonnade. Oh, and then I have a Force of Negation for whatever meaningful play they do next turn. You know what's funny? People like talked about this card. I don't even have to Snap Bolt this, right? I just get to attack it with Clique. That's too easy. Are we done here? It feels like we're pretty done here, right? I feel like Mueller every time I tell my students to read the syllabus. Yep. I mean, like, the whole reason the Dems brought Mueller to testify is the fact that, like, William Barr and Donald Trump and Fox News have been, like, just straight up lying about what was in the report, right? Like, the reason him testifying had to happen at all was because of the misinformation campaign that's been occurring. Yeah, for people that don't follow U.S. politics, believe it or not, Donald Trump and his campaign members point blank lied about the contents of the report. And they understand that a lot of people in the U.S. are so stupid, they're more likely to listen to it if it's televised on TV. So I did this line here, losing my other Teferi, because I know they have a couple copies of Supreme Verdict here, and I want to be able to Queller a Supreme Verdict this turn. Watching the Mueller testimony was like watching a Wheel of Fortune puzzle where the puzzle is solved, but the contestants keep guessing the letters. Yep. My opponent has conceded from the game because they know I have a Spell Queller. Yeah, I agree too. I wouldn't be surprised if there are a number of people that didn't actually read the report. Yeah, I agree, random guy. At this point in the political process, I'm pretty much at anybody who's still supporting Donald Trump is basically a cult member, and there's no changing that, and you should just ignore them. The goal for 2020 should be to encourage people who didn't vote in 2016 to get out and vote. That should be the goal. You can't reason people out of a cult. Cam Bam, thanks for the 15 months. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Having Mueller in front of Congress was basically the equivalent of turning the book into a movie for a lot of people, though. So there's a chance that people who would never read the book but would watch the movie might watch meaningful parts of that. That's not strictly true, pray wait. So while the Electoral College is definitely stacked in the favor of Republicans the way it's set up, the number of people who just stayed home between the 2012 and 2016 elections in key swing states would have decided the election in the Democrats' favor if they had just gotten out and voted. So it's important to recognize that, like, while the Electoral College puts an unfair disadvantage on progressives, it's important to recognize that, like, energizing voters is a way to get around that if you look at the actual data. Tony, thank you for the 19 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. There we go. Are we bolting a noble hierarchy here? What on God's green earth? Sure. Thank you. Okay, so we're playing against merfolk and not spirits then? I'm in Australia where if we don't go and vote, we get fined. That's awesome. Election day should be a national holiday, and I am pro fining people who don't vote. That sounds awesome. You could also go the other way and give people a reward for voting. I think that would be fine too. You can give bonuses instead of penalties. I think that's also fine. I don't have time to look at a YouTube video at the moment, Johnny. I just like play Time Raveler and bounce this vial. I think I just play Time Raveler and bounce this vial. Yeah, give a tax deduction for voting. That's a really elegant way to do it. Xif, thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Yep. Tax credit would be the perfect solution. Deal. Hymn to Torok resolves. Go. Thanks, Xif. Yeah, we don't shy away from the hard discussions around here that scare a lot of other people off. All right, so we have Spell Queller as a blocker plus a path to exile this turn, so maybe that's good enough. Maybe. No, I'm not going to be playing in the fandom tournaments anymore, number 15. It just ended up being too much downtime. Just wasn't a huge fan. Too much waiting makes for bad content. The chances of cashing any given Magic tournament are too low for me to keep skipping my deck queue one day a week. Would much rather just play out of my deck queue. It's like playing in the fandom tournament is kind of like me skipping work to go gamble, which isn't ideal. If they have a 3-mana Lord here, this goes sideways. If they don't have a 3-mana Lord, so of course they do, we're in a great spot. If they didn't have exactly this card, we'd be in an amazing spot here. Of course, maybe they don't attack with this if they don't have the Rejury. Yeah, I agree. Like, playing games for like 20 minutes and then taking like a 40-minute break is just like real medium. So the problem with that, Anner, is that I get it. Like, you can say you don't like Trump all you want, but like, if you're still voting for him, you're still voting for all the things his administration has done. You could vote for a third party. You could stay home. Both voting for a third party and staying home are better than going out and actively supporting Donald Trump and the hate that he represents. Donald Trump isn't a conservative. You could probably make the argument that Joe Biden is more of a typical conservative than Donald Trump is at this point. He's so close. Biden is so close to the center. Really need to draw a Lightning Helix here to stay in this game. All right, Bolt might give us a chance. I get a redraw here. That's a Snapcaster Bolt. All right, I think we just pass here. If we don't get counterspelled out of this, we might have a shot. Dankzilla, thank you for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. So the problem here is that if they draw a Lord, I die to Island Walk. But if I don't snap Bolt proactively here, I die to just any Merfolk being cast and this tapping my thing. Yeah, I agree, Fuzzy Thantos. That's a great way to do it. Oh, I could have put C on my Scalding Tarn. That's a good call. C on my Scalding Tarn's a good line. We died anyways. Wait, if I put C on my Scalding Tarn, I'd have lived, right? Holy crap, that's a good line. So if I would have C'd this Scalding Tarn would have been an island, and then I could have cast Snap off the Scalding Tarn island, and then I'd have been able to bolt this Pearl Trident. Thank you for pointing that out. I really appreciate it. Longtime YouTube watcher, finally got Prime to become a member of Hoaglandia. Thanks for keeping me around the games, Lanyard. Welcome, welcome. Sorry about that, I was mid. And Dankzilla, thank you for the Prime support as well. That's a really tight line. I'm upset that I missed that. It's kind of a tilt. This is a clutch line that would have saved us. So that being said, these spreading seas are bad. I'm going to board them out. But if I'd have recognized that, we would have not been dead on the attacks that turn. No guarantee that we win the game, but we wouldn't have been dead that turn. We would have been in a pretty good spot. Yeah, we're looking at subs. We're having a conversation. I missed spreading seizing a Scalding Tarn to allow me to cast my spells. Honestly, and this is something that I think something that I think a lot of people don't realize. I think a lot of the progressives that exist right now aren't hardline party progressives, right? Like, I look back and see, you know, Obama had a PolitiFact score, whatever that site is, of 26% of the things he said were somewhat untrue. And I thought 26% was a problem. Like, why are we saying somewhat untrue things a quarter of a time? Then you look at Trump's score, and he's saying somewhat or completely untrue things like 60+% of the time. And it's just like, it's just unreal. Like, 26% was bad. Like, I can say, I'm not voting for Democrats regardless of what they do, right? Like, I can step back and look at them and go, that's not okay. 26% untrue was not okay. 60+% untrue statements is just batshit insane. We're gonna bottom the island here. I think that might be greedy. President Obama, I believe, was about 26%, was somewhat untrue or pants on fire. Which is, I think that's a high number. Op's actually a really good draw here because it gives me a chance to find a land and it fuels the Grim Lavamancer. Is it PolitiFact? PolitiFact has a really good, I'm forgetting what the website is. I know when I click on it. Is it PolitiFact? Yeah, PolitiFact ranks all folks. Relic is actually really good here against us with our Grim Lavamancer draw. But yeah, basically, seeing like what Trump's done with the Republican Party just made me lose a lot of respect for a lot of people, a lot of adults that I grew up with as I became more educated and informed myself, because they didn't actually have policy problems with Obama. Because if they had policy problems or had problems with him lying, they'd have similar problems with like what Trump does. They actually just didn't like him because he was a Democrat or because he was black. Pick one. And like that's not okay. You should be judging people based on their actions and what they're doing, not what they look like or what party they're affiliated with. Is there arena maintenance today? Apparently there's scheduled maintenance in progress. Well, this is only match 3, so maybe it'll be done by the time we're done. So do I try and Helix this? Cite an example. I don't want a bullshit study, Johnny. Show me examples from that site that show Republicans that are saying true things that are being said as false. They're listed as false that are actually true. Give me specifics. Don't give me generics. What you just linked me is like saying the website needs more tempo, which we all know is not welcome around here. When a non-artifact permanent enters the battlefield under their control, you may return a permanent that shares a type with it to its owner's hand. Weird. Carl Sham, thank you for the tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome. They were just a Merfolk deck game 1. They had this weird 1-mana Merfolk where when it came into play, it got to mill a card off someone's deck. So, Ninja Killer, the mantra that both sides suck is a message that is largely pushed by conservatives and the Republic Party to create voter apathy. This idea that they're all the same turns people off from voting when the reality couldn't be further from that. They're really not all the same. When people claim to be centrists, here's the argument to just blow every enlightened centrist out of the water. What's the middle ground between kids in cages and kids not in cages? Kids in dog collars? What's the middle ground between you can marry the person you love and you can't? Where's the middle ground there? That's not the middle ground, Ninja Killer. That's not the middle ground between kids in cages and kids not in cages. You can't be in the middle on that issue. There are so many important social issues where claiming to be in the middle is nonsense. Don't just tell me I'm wrong, Rook Jackson. Give me an example. You're saying that's a straw man and it's not appropriate? Tell me why. Give me an example. The same critical thinking skills I asked you to apply in Magic the Gathering apply to real life. All right, so I'm going to concede here because we were ranting and I fucked up. I should have abraded the Curio in response to this so they don't get to save their Silver Girl Adept. Yeah, but that doesn't work in practice, Nexus. Like, in this perfect, ideal world where capitalism breeds only competition and doesn't screw over people who are poor and can't afford to live, in a perfect reality, being in the middle is fine. But, like, in actual life where the rest of us live, where people's lives and what they're able to accomplish are decided by laws that people who are hateful are passing, that doesn't work. What's the middle ground that makes sense? So can you explain to me from a middle ground perspective, what's the middle ground perspective on people shouldn't go bankrupt because of their healthcare costs? What show me, can you please, so here's the thing that I don't get. Modern day conservatism is rooted in racism in the United States at this point. So can you show me what's a good conservative topic that's not just being hateful towards people that look different to us? Give me an example. Hey, nice, Yummy. Congrats. The middle ground is healthcare should be free for everyone, but there should be checks and balances in place. But that's not true, Ninja Killer. So that's the point. You're saying the middle ground point is that healthcare should be free and there should be checks and balances. That's not a conservative point of view. That is a super liberal point of view in the United States. Implying that people should have access to healthcare as a human right, that they shouldn't go bankrupt because they can't afford it. That's a liberal point of view in the United States. I grew up in a household where I thought of myself as a conservative through probably grad school, honestly. And the more I understood and learned about what the world was actually about, the more I realized that this idea of being a conservative just didn't line up with anything how I actually felt. It was just this stick that was parroted to me that I bought into. Education has a liberal bias, yep. Along with reality, yep. So sure, so I want to believe you're centrist. So give me a good middle ground argument. Why? Show me your centrism. Teach me, educate me, help me learn. Give me a centrist point of view that's not just bullshit rooted in racism or rooted in being hateful towards people. This is game one. This is game one. So I'm gonna play this Teferi and plus him, I think. And then next turn I can bounce the Chalice and veto it on the way back down. As opposed to positive rights. The idea of positive rights, the idea that minorities and people who have been oppressed and had negatives applied to them for so long are getting positive rights is bullshit. When you are used to privilege, equality feels like oppression. When you are used to privilege, equality feels like oppression. Plain and simple. They had another Tron piece, they had another card, they had a Mycosynth Lattice. Everything went very bad here. Everything went very bad here. What's my stance on the right to bear arms? I think if you want to own a firearm in the United States, you should have to pass a firearms test, and you should have to own firearms insurance, just like I have to do for my car. If I have to insure my car and I have to pass a test to get my driver's license to drive my car, the same thing should happen for firearms. If you think that's really necessary. I think there is a wealth of data out there that implies less guns is a good thing overall. But I think if you want to take the stance that guns need to happen and you want to own guns, that's how you should be allowed to own guns. Yeah, it should be registered and filed like VIN numbers through the state. Every way we go through to manage allowing people to drive, copy and paste it and apply it to guns. Everything that applies to vehicles, apply it to guns. But guess what? What I just said there about applying it to guns, I think that's a pretty centrist policy, right? That's kind of middle ground. That's considered incredibly liberal by the GOP. That's not considered a middle of the road policy. That is considered incredibly liberal. All right, so I want to trim. I think I'm actually going to trim my ops here too, just because they're a Chalice deck. I cut my bolts and leave in the Helixes because Helixes cast through Chalice on one. Path to Exile is just too important in this matchup to cut, and ops kind of filler anyways. So let's just click submit. European Welfare says hello. Your rant about minorities and privileges made me resub. Thanks, Mesa. I appreciate the 5 months. Welcome back. Would you agree that a proper middle-of-the-road policy would feel to each side like it was the opinion of the other? No, I don't think so, Rook. I don't think so. Yes, yeah, I agree, God. A lot of the Democrats, and I mentioned this earlier, like Joe Biden is basically a centrist candidate. He's borderline conservative. I actually saw a guy who made a YouTube video that said Joe Biden should just run in a GOP primary against Trump. Like he's so far from the extreme left. This hand's pretty good. We've got a Helix. We've got all our colors of mana. We need a couple more lands, but we've got like a Stony Silence to shut down some of their stuff and a D-Sphere as a removal spell. Ooh, Blast Zone is really good against us. Every right is a positive right, Tindid. Everything. Everything is a positive right. Negative rights don't exist. Hey, Milhanen, thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Torpor Orb. Yep. Okay. I think the plan is like disrupt with our stuff here and play this 3-4 and beat them down here. Centrism consistently cedes ground to the far right. Yep, that's been my experience watching our country. Maybe I should have played the Tarn there to fetch a tapped land. Yeah, I think I should have played the Tarn there to fetch a tapped land. Yeah, as someone who's not married to one party, the Dems really messed up in 2016 nominating Hillary. And if they elect Biden, if they nominate Biden, we might have a similar thing happen in 2020. If they thought not sear me here, I'm a little bit mediocre. Maybe I should have Detention Sphered this. Part of the Canadian problem, though, is we elected a liberal who promised to help the less fortunate by the salvation of newer generation, and his acuity as a spineless, lying child who can't stop saying, yeah. And I mean, like, politicians lie on both sides, right? Like, that happens. People are terrible in all walks of life. And, like, if like, let's say Pete Buttigieg is my favorite current person running in the Democratic primary, and if he gets elected and then does a 360 on everything he promised and doesn't get anything done, you better believe I wouldn't vote for him again in 2024, because that's what a reasonable person does. They look at this thing and they go, oh, they lied, I'm not supporting that person anymore. I think I should have done this on turn 3, and I'm going to go ahead and do it now since we drew the Spell Queller too. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. A lot of conservative groups are actually anti-liberal. The number of people who I've seen say they're still supporting Trump because they need to own the libs is just, like, disgusting. Does someone ask why I prefer Pete to some of the older, more established candidates like Warren and Sanders? Warren's actually my second pick. I've made campaign contributions to both Pete and Elizabeth. Honestly, someone being 70 plus in the White House is, like, at that age, the chance of mental deterioration happening and impacting the decisions they make is a very real possibility. So in order for me to support someone like Bernie or Elizabeth, even though I like their positions on a lot of policies, who their running partner is really matters to me, because their running partner might be incredibly relevant during their term. Pete is against free college and Medicare for all and has major lobbies. He is not against Medicare for all. His stance on socialized healthcare is actually a very reasonable one, which is that the government should have an option for people that want it, but if the private companies can be competitive, they should allow to still exist and be competitive for people that prefer to keep their private insurance, which I think I'd consider that that's kind of the middle of the road view, right? But in the United States, that's considered liberal because they're talking about the option of a government run option. Sure, I don't care whose it was. It's a good one. It's a good one. That's a great way to approach it. In my opinion. Don't want a religious president, it's been a rough 250 years. Yep. Alright, so even though they have Cavern, this Disdainful Stroke likely still has a text box, just because they do have a lot of non-creature spells, like these Karn the Great Creators and Ugins and stuff like that. The next land that we draw, we're going to hold in our hand, so that way we can discard it to a Reality Smasher trigger, potentially. Thought Not Seer. Alright, so that's going to come into play. We're going to path it in response before it can take our path away. Any Snapcaster Mage or Helix lets us win this race, which is nice. That's a Field of Ruin. Lets us take them off a Tron piece. Yeah, it's just a typical Thursday morning, Cousin Vin. Someone brought up Mueller. And we were off to the races. Yeah, I think we actually want to take them off Cavern, right? Since we drew another brick. Because Reality Smusher ends us next turn. Ends our whole career. So I'm going to go ahead and attack for 5 again here, because it gives me the ability to draw a Helix or a... It gives me the ability to draw a Helix or a Snapcaster next turn to kill them. That's true. It actually started off with a joke. For those that missed it, Mueller testified in Congress yesterday, and he completely exonerated Stoneforge Mystic of all charges, and Stoneforge Mystic will be being unbanned after this next Mythic Championship as a result. What if we didn't do that? So they know about this stroke. So like they knew that was coming, so that means they have another bomb. And look at that. We played to the out of drawing Snapcaster Mage and we hit it. Sweet. All right, so we get to win this game on the play. We'll have to win a game on the draw now. Hey, Yellow Yoshi, thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. I think people need to stop complaining about Russian interference in non-rotating formats. The USA has been interfering in non-rotating formats constantly. That's true. That's true. I think I'm happy with how we sideboarded. We tried to minimize the impact of Chalice. Like, obviously still has some impact, but less of it. Have some Detention Spheres and some Teferis to bounce stuff around. I wonder how this matchup is. I think this is our first time playing this matchup with this archetype. This seems fine. It would like a path or an opt or a bolt or something to like make the Snapcaster Mages better, but Teferi plus D-Sphere doesn't seem unreasonable. The opponent's deck like doesn't do anything too super scary with Tron mana, so like mulliganing 2 hands that disrupt my opponent off of Tron mana isn't a huge priority here. Have a good one, Rook. Catch you later. All right. We've been on the topic of politics for a little bit. We're going to move back and focus on the Magic. My final comment, and again, remember, if you're a sub in this chat, you can always talk about politics as much as you want in the political dark place in the subs Discord. I frequent there as well, especially when there's things going on like the debates or like the hearing yesterday I was poking in, especially talked about it afterwards. My last comment is that I think in a perfect world, a lot of people would like to be centrist on a lot of issues, but in real life where all of us live, that stance just doesn't really work a lot of the time, and you gotta pick a side. And your sides currently are, in the United States, people that want to give you healthcare and cheaper college, and Donald Trump. Those are your 2 options at the moment. And until the GOP pick someone to represent them and back who's not Donald Trump, those are your choices. Don't get mad at me. That's what the GOP's giving you. Natural Tron, yep. So, depends on what the rest of their hand is here. So if they have a way to take D-Sphere off the table, we're probably just dead. But if they don't have a way to take D-Sphere off the table, we're probably in a fine spot. Yeah, if this was Greentron, honestly, if it was Greentron, I probably would have mulliganed. J-Bot! Thank you for the 12 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. That's a good question. For those not familiar with Modern, Tron refers to these 3 Urza lands. So these lands together we refer to, generally speaking, as Urza-Tron. And Urza-Tron, because these lands tap for massive amounts of mana when you combine them together. I'm conceding here because Modern's full of miserable prison lock elements that just lock you out of the game. So my opponents cast Karn the Great Creator, and they're going to fetch a 6-mana artifact that says I can no longer tap my lands for mana. And I don't have anything in play, so not being able to tap my lands for mana means I'm done playing Magic. Let's pull the arena status page up. Someone said they were back already. So if that's the case, I can try and get that updating in the background. It currently says the game is under maintenance. It says the maintenance is expected to last 2 hours, which is another 90 minutes. The last time we play Ad Nauseam, I decided I didn't want to play that deck anymore. It was pretty mediocre. Alright, basic Forest Birds of Paradise. Could be a bit of a brew, could be Ponza. Either way, I think I want to fetch Steam Vents and bolt this bird on one. Did you accept the turns list atop AGP? Yeah, probably. We'll 0-3 a league with that one. You ever streamed a Battle of the Witch deck on stream? Not in recent years. Just because, ooh, are they playing? They could be JAC, but Basic Forest is pretty unlikely in JAC. It could still be like Green Devotion. Battle of Wits lags Magic Online a pretty significant amount. Like, Magic Online struggles to open a 60-card deck, much less a 250-card deck. Look at that. Second land, sign me up. Hashtag sometimes lucky. Wait, they suspended a Lotus Bloom? I missed that. Okay, I have no idea what's going on the other side of the table, but I'm kind of excited to find out. Trace Abundance. Okay. Yeah, could be Enduring Ideal. Enduring Ideal is a good suggestion. I could see that. Looking for some lands, get 5 looks at it. We hit. Vendilion Clique's actually a great one to pick up because she'll tell us what exactly is going on over there. Why don't I use the MTGO sound effects? If you've ever heard the MTGO sound effects, you'd know the answer to that question. They are, in fact, an Enduring Ideal deck. Sweet. All right, well, we're going to Spell Queller the crap out of this Lotus Bloom. MTGO lags on Battle of Wits to simulate the time it takes to search it in paper. Three years ago. Gosh, that's got to be a rough video. You may exchange control of target non-land permanent you control and target non-land permanent opponent controls with equal or lesser mana cost. Interesting. Mycosynth Lattice, dude, light. Mycosynth Explicitly turns off lands because it stops them from... It stops because Karn stops artifacts from working. Yeah, opponent's playing Enduring Ideal, Burgle. We're 1 and 2, so we're in the Enduring Ideal bracket. Which I think we've got vetoes, and in our sideboard we've got some negations and some strokes. So, oh gosh, Ashiok turns off Enduring Ideal, doesn't it? Hey, thanks for the 7 months, Basic Lands. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Ashiok has so many good random jank matchups in this format. It's hilarious. You know, I'm just gonna flash in this Spell Queller. The opponent does have fantastic basic lands. You're not wrong. Load Arena on a different monitor and see if it updates. Hey, Blitz Legend. Thanks for the support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. All right, I'm reinstalling Magic Arena now because the updater didn't want to work. Oh, that's really funny. So I control this Trace of Abundance, but they still get the effect because it's on the mana. That's really funny. They're dead, but that's a good thing to know about. Nah, the updater doesn't work on Windows either a lot of the time, Mello. It's an Arena problem. All right, we got actually just a ton of cards that are good here, huh? Got seven things that all board in reasonably. State of the beta said the updater should work after today's update. This update is supposed to fix the updater not working. God bless us, everyone. This seems fine. What do we think of this? What do we think of this, this board plan? Yeah, one Stony's probably better than this Grim Lavamancer just to shut off the blooms. I like that. Grim Lavamancer and Stony are both pretty mediocre. I think Stony is marginally better. I like it. Let's see if we can win the next couple and get our 3-2. And one of our losses was because I punted twice against Merfolk. I missed a really sweet line in game 1, and then I got distracted and missed an important play in game 2. This seems fine. Need some lands, but we're on the draw. It feels like when my Gen 2 told me I could not emerge the newest portage because my portage was too out of date to emerge the newer one. Yep. And that's why I used Debian. Hey, Boston, thanks for the brand new Prime support. Welcome, welcome. I appreciate you keeping me around. Thanks for keeping me employed this month with that. Yeah, if the average player spends $75 per year on arena gems, I can't even fathom how much, I guess I can fathom how much whales spend because I'm a whale. But like, because that has to balance out against people who literally don't put any money in. So like, when balanced against people who spend $0, the average arena player spends 75 in a year. You know, maybe I'm supposed to fetch a white source with this rather than red, because casting Veto is more important than casting Bolt. Yeah, so if I'd have fetched a white source here, I'd be able to cast Veto, and I currently can't. Yeah, I like the Auric Field deck a lot. That's gonna be the archetype that I work on for the Mythic Championship qualifier next week. That is an 8th edition forest there. You like Tamiyo? Yeah, I could see that, especially with the Nexus in the deck. Oh, sweet. So this is just a rainbow land when they have Trace Abundance out. It's neat. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I'm stoked for the Fairy Tale set 2 eyes. Thanks for 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Maybe I should have milled them. They probably can't attack this, right? Milling them's kind of a free roll, huh? White source. Ugh. Well, shoot. We saw a red pact in their deck last game. All right, if I get to untap, I have a Detention Sphere here for this Hive Mind. If we get to untap. Yeah, I should mill down to this being on 1, I think. For sure. Yup. Yup. It's been something I've been wanting to know. Do you have family or ancestors from the Netherlands by chance? Yes! Like many people who live in the United States, my family immigrated here from another country at some point. Now, it was several generations ago, but they did come from somewhere else, like most people who live here. Which is why you shouldn't be hateful towards people coming from other places who want to live here. Most is a better descriptor. Sounds like you're trying to make a point. It's weird, I know. Alright, so little Teferi gets me back my Ashiok eventually here. So I think I'm just passing for the time being. I think I want to get my click. Alright, so I'm gonna click myself here actually. And get rid of this Helix and try and find some more lands. Because ideally I'd like another white source so I can Time Raveler, bounce this Oblivion Ring, get my Ashiok back. Deal. And then Veto the O-Ring on the way back down. Well, I guess I could have snapped Opt here. Maybe I'm supposed to snap Opt. That gives me a better chance to hit the source. Although Click puts more pressure into play, which is appealing. Sweet. There's a fetch land. Alright, fair warning. My arena failed to launch after it claimed to install just now. So I'm attempting to install it one more time, but maybe today is going to be a short Moto-only stream while Jeff sorts out issues with the arena updater off stream. Maybe it was a fluke and it's gonna restart properly. I don't have streaming set up for my phone yet. I need to do that at some point. What if we didn't do that one? What if instead of being a big scary dragon, you just weren't? If Arena decides not to work today, I think I'll go get cards for a third Modern deck, or a third MTGO deck. Yeah. And we'll just do a third Moto deck and then call it a day after that. I did actually have someone resubmit the Elemental Company deck. So we'll definitely be getting back to that one again at some point. Normal lands are banned at the moment. Arena wasn't pay to win enough, so they had to have foil lands a requirement to play. You can have an additional upkeep. Oh, you know what? I think this is maybe wrong, and I should have opted to see if I hit a Spell Queller here before vetoing, because this veto can counter a bigger spell, and the Snapcaster Mage doesn't really have good text in play. Hey, Jensen, thanks for keeping me around. I appreciate that. Welcome back. All right, Stroke covers us nicely. So no harm, no foul. Ends up being the same play. It's actually kind of funny. Our clock currently is the Ashiok milling them, kind of. If we find another Ashiok, it does another 20 cards. Sandworm Convergence. Yeah, let's not on that one. Yeah, we keep the Ashiok on one counter for the static effect. Ashiok's static effect renders their primary win condition, the Enduring Ideal, useless. What is the sealed pull across? So they're playing 4-color Enduring Ideal, 5-color Enduring Ideal, base green-white Enduring Ideal. If you're interested in seeing what Enduring Ideal decks can do, it's one of the decks in the meme category of the modern decks on my website. My opponent has copies of Lotus Bloom in their deck, so I brought in Stony Silence to counter the 4 copies of that effectively. I think Teferi is bouncing Snapcaster Mage so it can recast Opt or Disdainful Stroke next turn. Yeah, you're with me, Punchworthy. Really, they're taking my Teferi. That gives me something to do with this D-Sphere, I guess. They've bottomed a couple of cards, so I'm going to shuffle the bad cards they've bottomed back into their deck and grab my last basic here. Yeah, sweet. Yeah, we're supposed to get a bunch of nice looking lands. Sweet. So I could draw step click, but I think I'd prefer to have Snapcaster Stroke up here. If they don't give us something to Snapcaster Stroke, we'll click plus Snapcaster Opt. And we're differently. Actually, we're going to click myself, right? We're going to click and take the Stony Silence and turn it into a good card, hopefully. Because I can resto the Snapcaster Mage to Disdainful Stroke next turn. How are we doing? We're doing okay. I've got enough mana that I can opt for an Opt here. There's one Hallowed Fountain left in my deck, right? Force of Negation probably gets pretty close to locking the game up. because that's effectively 2 Force of Negations with the resto on the Snapcaster Mage. I have a relatively quick clock from this position. So with Ashiok locking out my opponent's Enduring Ideals, like, the odds of them drawing like 3 meaningful spells past that is pretty low. Alright, I have one more thing that I can try to make Arena work. Oh no, I just killed Moto, I think. Yep, pulled up the wrong terminal and killed Moto by mistake. Not like that Moto didn't deserve it. But, you know, hit Control C in the wrong terminal. Yeah, I'm aware that Nox is streaming Arena. One of the things you need to understand about software is that just because something works for one person doesn't mean it works everywhere. So I'm aware that it is currently a local issue that I'm experiencing, and I am attempting to correct it, but telling me that other people are currently streaming doesn't fix it. Yeah, developer works on my laptop. Yeah, we're not going to be able to play Arena today, it doesn't look like. The installer literally just doesn't work. It literally just skips past and doesn't do anything. So, I'll have to figure that out later. But we're gonna do one more Moto League today, but if people are hanging out just waiting for Standard, that's not going to happen today. Through no fault of my own, here we are. Underlords? I don't know about Underlords. We're gonna do one more Moto deck. I want to work till at least 1 o'clock or so, so we can swap some cards out and do another Moto deck. There's plenty of things in that deck queue, and I can't do Moto tomorrow anyways because of the Pro Tour, so I might as well do an extra one today. Hive Mind. What if we didn't? You've played so much 3 free today, why not rev up actual Hearthstone? Yep. And I'm actually kind of interested to see how many viewers we drop. Because based on how many viewer numbers we drop here, that gives me an idea how many people are just here waiting for Standard and how many people are actually here for Modern. I assume there's a non-zero number of people here that are just hanging out waiting for Standard. Am I gonna be streaming this weekend? Yeah, probably. So next week is Gen Con. So I'm gonna be off half of Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. So I'll probably be live at some point this weekend once I confirm with Christy when's good to be live. Thanks, Zowzy. And yeah, I know there's a number of people that are here for just me too. Y'all are great. Hive Mind still works with Teferi because it's a copyright. Yes, that is correct. Yeah, I don't actually know what the next deck in the modern queue is offhand. That seems fine. It's a little bit light on food for Grimboy, but pretty reasonable selection of spells otherwise. Has all our colors. Is JAC the next one in the queue? I might skip over JAC. We just did that one very recently. Play Morrowind. Oh, that was a game of my childhood. Oh, are we gonna get a rematch against Fish here? Could be humans or merfolk still too. Some kind of tribal deck. Is Narset Cannon the next deck in the queue? That sounds exciting after JAC. Humans does usually play a basic Island Burgle. Alright, so second basic I think implies, could still theoretically be humans, but likely means spirits. Yeah. I'm gonna reset their Aether Vial here. And then if they kill Teferi, that just fuels my Grim Lavamancer, so that sounds fine. Hey, Gregor, thanks for the tip. Bumping 4X Crabvine. I wouldn't mind. We did just have someone asking if we played the new Hagak yet. Would not mind giving that a spin. The Elk! Thank you for the 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Alright, so what do we want to do here? How do we feel about Path plus Clique this turn? Does that seem reasonable? I can probably trade the Clique inside a combat and activate Grim Lavamancer. I'm going to click now while they don't have Spell Queller up and take a peekaboo at what's in their hand. Maybe get a Lord out of them. Got to keep in mind Mausoleum Wanderer. Yeah, I don't think I really care about this Reflector Mage, huh? Kent got a full-time adult job. I believe he had an internship at Amazon, if I recall correctly. Wolfie, thanks for the 2/3 of your support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, I'm gonna take Queller. The Reflector Mage is a lot less annoying when it has to be at sorcery speed, thanks to us exiling, us getting rid of the Aether, or us bouncing the Aether Vial. They have Mausoleum Wanderer, Burgle. I think my plan here is if they don't Reflector Mage the Grim Lavamancer, I'm gonna trade the Vendilion Clique and then activate Lavaman. I mean, I know their hand. They're only gonna have 2 cards I don't know, and they're likely playing Reflector Mage pre-combat. So like I'm gonna have the opportunity to pass something this turn. They have Flooded Strand and then 2 cards I don't know. Yeah, they added a new updater today, Mindless. So either it broke on some Windows systems or it broke under Wine in general. So far, every bug I've experienced with it on Linux has existed on some form of Windows as well, but it's also their installer is a .NET application, which tend to be pretty mediocre under Wine, so it might be a Wine issue. Hey, DM, thanks for the tip. I appreciate it. For Pauper Elves, I would be happy. I would be happy to get that one slotted in. Thanks for the support. Probably be up on Monday then, I believe. What do I want to do here? So I can't recast the Grim Lavamancer because that's how Reflector Mage works. I might just want to stick Teferi here. I think I just want to stick Teferi. It's amazingly close to Modern Elves. That's exciting. I like Modern Elves when it's good. And there's no Plague Engineer in Pauper, right? So that's nice. Do you have another Mausoleum Wanderer? Wow, they do. That's rough. If they hit a Lord next turn, they can kill Teferi, which would be awkward for us. Prime Video is being removed from the Wii. Well, they recently added Prime Video to Chromecast support, so that was nice. Someone who uses their Chromecast a lot. Yeah, we use a lot of Chromecast in this house, so being able to Prime Video to it is a quality of life upgrade for us for sure. Alright, so I'm going to Grim Lavamancer, and I think I'm going to Snap Path one of these Wanderers now, while this is summoning 6 still. Means our Teferi's more likely to live. Wow, maybe they're out of basics because no, I'm not going to pay for that. You don't get a land now if you have a basic. 5/5 might be the number of basics they have, though. It's a good number. Yuck, they have a 2-drop. They have a non? Okay, they just have nothing. I was like, it's weird that they didn't put in a spirit to deal more damage to my Teferi last turn if they had it. Yeah, so we have a couple of Vizio smart TVs, and I don't think I'll ever buy that brand again, because the software on their smart TV has lots of issues. And like, we bought a lower end, like 32-inch smart TV for the kids' playroom that we let them watch on occasion, and like, it basically, the smart TV on it basically doesn't work at all. It constantly locks up and drops. Yeah, we've had a Vizio in my living room for a long while, and it's always worked okay. And this 32-inch one we bought earlier this year has been really bad. I think they have a rattle change, and they forgot Teferi wouldn't let it cast inside of combat. What does a Chromecast do? It lets you send videos from your smartphone to your television. Is it free? No, it's a piece of hardware you have to buy. It like turns your regular TV into a smart TV. Ding. Do you have a Spell Queller? Spell Queller, Spell Queller. If you drew a Spell Queller, we are very dead. Bum 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 bum. They have a vial on 3, chat. They have a vial on 3. So they only have 1 card left. Do I just cash this Time Raveler in to bounce my Snapcaster and draw a card? What do we think of that? Is that the line? I feel like we have a hard time losing with that line. Like, it unlocks some of their tricky stuff, but like, they have a vial anyways. Opponent is having too much fun with Vial while Teferi is in play. Please, Ben. Please. Please, it's too good. Must nerf. Must nerf. Alright, so I'm going to Lavaman during their upkeep. And the reason for the sequencing is if they have another Rattle Chains, I want them to Rattle Chains on their upkeep instead of on my end step. I've really enjoyed the frame change, by the way. I know, Marty. I have too. It's such a perfect extra little detail, right? Helps with the immersion. Oh, I should have vetoed that. I guess I could veto a path or something at some point. Let's snap opt here. Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Doop, doo 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 doo. Fetch lands aren't even that terrible of draws because they're like, fetch lands are like half a removal spell, right? We should stop and chill soon. It's a good call. I haven't done one of those yet today. The Nintendo Switch Lite is basically just a Game Boy, right? It's like a Switch without the ability to dock it. I mean, it's almost certainly intentional that it comes out after, right? Because like they want people who want Pokemon right away to buy the more expensive product. Is the bot dead? Is it just a bad day for technology? I made a command, but apparently I'm just gonna repeat myself because the bot's dead. No, the arena updater's not working for me. So we are not going to be playing arena today on stream because streamers debugging technical problems on stream is tedious, so it's something I try not to do. Apparently just the command standard doesn't work for the bot. I feel like I need to take a weekend and like write my own Twitch bot. There's so many little things that the MTGO bot does that's annoying. Like not telling me when I add a command that apparently it's claimed as a default command for some reason. Hey, Nerodis, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Fire up the colonnade. Let's go. Hey, TAB or Tab, thank you for the brand new Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for putting mine this month with that. For people who do enjoy Magic's older non-rotating formats, I am going to do one more Modern deck after this. I'm not 100% sure what it is. This is our last match of this league. And once we finish, I'll pull up the deck queue and grab something to grab cards for. I'd love to know more about your streaming setup. Is there somewhere I can read about it? There's a command in here somewhere that has my computer specifications listed. Yeah, computer, PC part picker list. All right, so spirits. They've got spirit. Yes, they do. I think we're just bringing in a mess of spot removal here. Trim the vetoes. Probably trim the spreading seas. That seems fine. And then I currently have 4 mismatch monitors hooked into my 1080 GTX. I have two matching HP monitors, actually a third mismatch but larger HP monitor in the middle, and then another random Acer screen off to the side that I had lying around. I'm going to do more Modern today, Marty. That sideboarding's fine. Yeah, Magma Spray's good. Magma Spray's like another piece of cheap spot removal that's like also good against like Bloodghast and stuff like that. How many creatures you want to be running in a deck with 4 Vivian's Arcbow? There's a lot of factors that go into that. So using hypergeometric calculations, you can determine how likely you are to hit or miss on any given Arcbow activation. And then you can decide like what's an appropriate failure rate for you. Like what's a failure rate you're okay with. So we'll get Sacred Foundry here. Basic Island's actually a great draw, because it lets me cast Opt plus activate Grim Lavamancer next turn, which is sweet. Now, it is a little bit awkward with the island because I can't Lightning Helix on 2, which sucks a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. That's pretty good. Hey, Thomas, thanks for the 8 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. So this counters abilities too. Yeah, it's a shapeshifter, Burgle. So with this Grim Boy hammering my graveyard anyways, if they just attack with this Mariner here, I might get cheeky and try and Snapcaster Ambush Viper it. It gets kind of savaged by a Lord. How badly do I want to get hosed by Supreme Phantom? Probably pretty badly. Deal. Everything turned out better than expected, chat. Everything turned out better than expected. Ambush Viper, I choose you. Empty board at 17. Have all of our mana, have a couple removal spells into. They added foil basics, G-Goat. Thanks, Davis. Yeah, it's fun to hammer a single idea home on occasion too. We've been doing that with the Yarok Scapeshift deck in Standard recently too. Normally I'd say it'd be sweet to kind of schedule something like that, but I can't really predict like when a particular deck's gonna strike my fancy. I might actually I'm gonna have some time in the car when we go to Gen Con next week. I might write a primer about this deck for Cool Stuff Inc. It's been a while since I've written something, and this is the first deck in a hot second that I've, like, spent a ton of time playing. Gen Con's next weekend. So I'm gonna do long streams on Monday and Tuesday next week, and then a half-day stream on Wednesday. Christy and I are leaving Wednesday afternoon. Alright, maybe that command will work. For those waiting for Arena, we're not going to be playing Arena today. Just as a heads up. Do we bring the kids to Gen Con? Nope. Children will be going to Nana and Papa for the weekend. So we have to leave Wednesday afternoon because we have to drive 2.5 hours to Chicago to drop the kids with my parents and then drive 3 hours down to Indiana. Yeah, I think we're at least 2 or 3 years off of bringing the kids to Gen Con. My youngest is only 4.5. Update. Arena patch days make me wish Wizards wasn't so greedy that they wouldn't just pay. I really wish they'd just give Valve money. Did I keep this? I think I'm looking for more 3 damage spells since I've got Grim Boy in play. Yep. I think I want to bounce Aether Vial here. During their upkeep, I'm going to Grim Lavamancer this Rattle Chains while they're still under Teferi and can't protect it. Yeah, I like conventions in general. They tend to be amusing. There's always lots of new board games to demo. Christy's really big into board games. I don't mind board games. Although, sometimes playing board games with muggles can be unfair, so I just watch. Restoration Angel's a good draw. Feels like we're going to come back to a 3-2. This league could have very easily been a 4-1 if I had been less distracted while playing against Merfolk. The old true. It's just like the old all modern days. We had 2 3-2 decks in a row. We're going to load up for a third here in a second. Oh. It appears my opponent's dojo is filled with fear, chat. It would seem their dojo contains nothing but fear. I'm gonna go ahead and I just have such an embarrassment of riches over here. And I'm gonna go ahead and destroy this Aether Vial just so they're fully playing Hearthstone. No responses for you. Come back in 1 year. Bye, Felicia. There are Reddit threads being posted with people complaining the latest update broke MTGA's wine compatibility, so it's not just you. Yeah, I'm sure it's broken for everyone. It didn't work through Lutris, and it didn't work when I tried to manually install it with wine, so. Like I said, their installer is a .NET piece of garbage, which those types of applications frequently have issues. If I don't get it sorted through some amount of hacking or other people don't fix it for tomorrow, I have a Windows computer upstairs we can stream from. Oh, that's cute. Did you want to cast a spell on my turn? Nope. How about nope? Am I not able to set up a Windows partition on the main streaming setup? I mean, I could, but that sounds like a lot of work. Generally speaking, everything I do works fine under my Linux system. And if Wizards could just figure out how to write a functional installer so we could, like, make that work, that would be fine. Like, if at some point my job became not doable from Linux, I would grab another hard drive and put up a Windows partition on here. But it's worked for so long that it's just, like, not worth the effort. I have to, like, buy another license of Windows, and that just sounds expensive and silly. This deck's really good against the tribal decks. I do, in fact, have a graduate degree in mathematics. Done a lot of hobbyist software stuff, too. The Linux distribution that I use is actually a project that I help maintain. It's a project that I started in college with some friends. Yeah, Jeskai Tempo. This is card for card, what we've been playing. It's what you'll find on the website. I'm pretty happy with it. I think you've got reasonable ins and outs in most matchups. Not next week, but probably the week after. I'm going to take some time out to write a primer on this deck, I think, because it's a little bit different than some of the other Jeskai and blue-white decks that have been floating around in Modern, and I feel like we've really hammered it into a position that I'm very happy with, so... Alternative to Surgical Extraction, there isn't. Surgical Extraction is a unique card, and Surgical Extraction is exceptionally good graveyard hate in a deck with Snapcaster Mage, so any other cards you put here is much worse. Playing Standard is the alternative. Playing Standard's a good alternative. Huvos, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome. The actual answer is that, like, if you don't have Surgical Extraction, you should probably just punt your graveyard matchups and hope to dodge them. Any of their cards you put here is going to be a lot worse, though. Play Tormod's Crypt, play whatever else you want to play, but you're going to be at a pretty big disadvantage not having Surgical. Like, in the graveyard matchups specifically. Alright, what are we doing next? Okay, next. Someone donated $20 to bump Bridge Vine. Does that put it at the top? That does put it above Narset Cannon. We did these two. JAC's technically at the top here, but we just did JAC this week already, and I kind of want to wait to get back to that one until next week. When we play things in rapid succession, it, Can we do the Hogok deck before the Pro Tour? That's probably true. I mean, another side of this, too, is that, like, we could wait for the Pro Tour to happen and then, like, play the version of Hogok that's good from the Pro Tour. Good morning, Marty. Alright, we're firing the meme cannon. Got it. In. We've never played this deck. We've never played this deck with the, with the London Mulligan. So let's do it. All right, for those that it's been a long time since we've